Hello, everybody. How's it going today? It's now Saturday, January the 29th. It's about 3 p.m. here in Istanbul, Turkey. And today we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin and just doing a general scan of the markets, but on the higher time frame, not on the lower time frame, just to get a gauge of what the market is doing and also if we can find a setup that's worthwhile to take that will last or that we can swing for maybe a few days. Despite me day trading and focusing on the volatility intraday, I still do look on the higher time frames as well because sometimes I just want to be able to lock in a good position to hold for a longer period of time. So let's see if there's anything we can make note of. But first of all, let's start with Bitcoin. Okay. January 25th was a really big day. We're going to first of all acknowledge the fact that Bitcoin made a substantial dip to the downside. It dropped 24.5%. During these really large dips over here, that's where the majority of people will lose money because they keep attempting to long and trying to catch a knife. Okay, catching a falling knife refers to when the market is dipping really hard. Dipping really, really hard. Where are we going to find some sort of stability? Where are we going to find some sort of support where we can enter a long position safely and a bounce can be confirmed? I remember many dips. For example, the dip on Bitfinex, February the 6th, 2018. I just remember days very, very well. When you're in the market long enough, you remember very important and prominent days. So here's 2018, February the 6th. Okay. Right here. February the 6th, 2018. That was a really nice dip that ended up happening, where it rallied double in a very short period of time. Bitcoin ended up doubling in a very short period of time. So during times like that, you're not going to be able. This is a feature called bar replay. If you click on bar replay, you can easily just go to that specific day, and it doesn't show anything else. Pretty cool, right? Let's say we went to like a 30-minute time frame here. Nope, we can't go to a 30-minute on there. That's fine. It's too far back, so the chart doesn't have the resolution to go that far back in time. But if you analyze it further, you'll be able to see that during big dips like that, it's best to enter on a breakout where we let the dip happen, we let the correction happen as well, and then we enter on a breakout that gives us a higher high rather than a new lower high or lower low. So first of all, what we're going to do is acknowledge on January the 15th here or January the 25th roughly, or the 24th rather, that was the bottom of Bitcoin for now. We see a gigantic dip on the downside here, probably one of the biggest dips we've seen. This dropped 25%. And then there was this one as well back in December, where this one dropped another 27%. So this one there, in my opinion, and that one there were probably the biggest dips. This one's probably the bigger one. This one happened over the course of roughly 4 days. This one happened in about 3 days. Yeah, 16 hours that one happened in. So we have to be extra cautious during times like this. I've heard of a lot of people coming up to me and saying things like, I've been liquidated, right? Well, it's certainly possible for people to lose a gigantic amount of capital during dips like that because you keep attempting to long and you're uncertain of how to long this. So I have a strategy for my course version 2.0 that comes out. So for my course version 2.0 coming out, I talk about my 6 trading setups and my exact routine of how I hunt for coins to trade. I talk about my scanner as well. And we can and I talk about, for example, catching massive dips. And then I got my 6 strategies here. One of them is shorting 5 Elliott waves. Second one is shorting third and C waves. Third one is trendline breakouts and longing third wave breakouts and patterns. Fourth setup is trendline breakouts, catching dips on wave 2 and 4. Those are on the bullish side. And the bearish side, these are my really, really powerful strategies here of trendline breakouts for the second, the fourth, the B, and the ABC finishes. And basically any 5 count. And also longing a massive dip here. So if you guys are interested in my course, I'm actually entirely done filming it already. It's 28 hours altogether. That's really long. And it also comes with a 250-page book. It's a textbook of golden rules and also just guidelines and also a summary of all the strategies I use and the summary of just kind of everything I talk about in the course, but in a written way and more detail as well to some extent. So that sells for $1,750, and I'm only releasing 100 copies. The 100 copies, and more than half of them are sold already. So if you're interested in it, definitely come get on the wait list, make a prepayment for it, and then go from there. So this way it reserves you a copy. Comes with a really nice box set, comes with a USB drive that's mailed to you, comes with a textbook as well. That's 250 pages, hardcover. It's pretty cool. This is going to be a hardcover, but just giving you kind of a sample of how the book looks. It's 250 pages of just raw information, so it's pretty cool. Anyways, back to the technical analysis, okay? So the first thing that I do when I'm doing a TA is I go to a high time frame and I take a look at it. Let's take a look at the monthly first of all. The monthly, we see that we're bouncing above. First of all, we were bouncing above this EMA, the 13 EMA, 13, 13, 13, for a very long period of time, for about 7 months. And then we cracked below the 13 EMA on the monthly, and now the monthly's MACD's crossed over. But you have to keep in mind that a MACD crossover doesn't always mean it's going to go to the downside. It means that it's a lagging indicator, and a lagging indicator tends to happen way after everything has already come down. So in fact, it came down there, right? And the next one, the histogram dropped. So this histogram just indicates that the MACD with the moving averages, they ended up converging and crossing. So it's not always the best indicator, the MACDs, okay? So we're seeing that it's bouncing above the 21 EMA here now, and it's on its way down. RSI is on its way down. Everything is on its way down for now. So the monthly was definitely bearish. It indicates that it will continue. But of course, if on the weekly we end up showing bullish signs, we can get a good rally. In my opinion, we're still gutting for a lower side right now. We're gutting for a low of up above this support. See above here, which is 29,300. That's the next support, I think. And we still have some ways to go. We got 22% to go. And of course, there's this range as well, above the bodies, which is around 32K. We almost reached it, but we didn't quite. The weekly indicates very bearish signs as well, except there's 1 day left and we have a hammer. So that's somewhat powerful. We ended up moving below the 55 EMA here, below the 55 EMA, closing it finally for the first time since June of 2020. The first time we were below the 55 EMA was May 2020 actually. Then just in January this year was the first time in literally 1 year and 7 months. So it's definitely showing bearishness. MACD is still going to the downside, and histogram, everything is going down right now so far. But the 3-day, we got a doji. That's a really powerful doji, right? That's when we got that huge reversal. The middle finger volume, I call it, on the 24th there. MACD crosses over on the daily. Okay, so that's really good. So the question is, will the daily start cascading over until the 2-day chart? Will this cross over, and will we be much more bullish? Because as it stands right now, we're kind of right in the middle, the dead middle of, are we bullish, are we bearish? But in my opinion, we're bearish, guys. I don't think we're going to be getting to anything high anytime soon. If I had to draw something, it would probably be like this. Literally. It would be something like that. And if we get to anywhere high, I mean, we're probably just going to get to this trend line right there only. Like, we're pretty much there already. Somewhere around there. And then we're just going to end up rejecting it and making another huge wave down. So in my opinion, we're going to be sideways for another week or so. Or in this range of doing nothing. 12-hour RSI and MACD's, or RSI is neutral at least. MACD is on its way up on the 12-hour. The 4-hour is really neutral. You would call it neutral whenever the MACD is on the y equals 0 axis, or just right on the x-axis, left to right there. And then you're seeing this as well. It's really, really neutral between 35 and also 70, 65. So really neutral all across the board. I say it's neutral because if you look at the EMA, right, whenever the price is really at the EMA, like at the 55 EMA, above or below it slightly, not extended, that's when it means that it's pretty sideways. You would want some movement where it's far away, okay? For example, whenever the EMAs are far from the price, it wants to snap back to that EMA. See here, it's neutral, and then it snaps down, but it snaps back up. Here it's neutral, breaks down, but snaps back up. The further it is away from any EMA on any time frame, the more volatile it is. And you always want to be hunting volatile coins because volatile coins they yield a lot more profit, right? They have a lower margin for error. A bigger range for you to profit, and there's a higher margin for error for entering trades. So I don't see any bullish signs for Bitcoin at all right now, except for the daily that crossed over. But I see a huge resistance that's forming right now. And if you take a look at it on a 12-hour chart, if you take a look at it on the daily chart, all that I see right now is a huge flag. Kind of like a formation like that. That's a continuation of a bearish run to the downside. That's all that I really see. So it's hard for me to give any interpretation other than that, except the daily chart crossed over. And now it might cascade to the 2-day chart as well. On top of the 2-day, RSI fairly low, under 35. The 3 days pretty low as well at 33. But let's not pretend for a moment that we've never seen it go really, really low, guys. We've seen RSIs just tank, like really, really low. We've seen RSI on dailies go like really, really far. Except on the daily for Bitcoin, this is the lowest we've ever seen it in a long time. Last time we saw it that low was March 2020, and that's when Bitcoin was like $4,000. So this is definitely a record for the low. We just might pop to the upside. If we do, like maybe this is a 5-wave, right? But it's probably a 5-wave, somewhere in there like that. A lot of people have argued that could have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and now this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're pretty much done ABC on the macro picture, the bigger one, right? Just something like that. That's certainly possible. I mean, let's check the extension, just curious. 6-8. So we have a resistance to face on Bitcoin. That's my final word on it. Until we break out of there, I have to remain pretty neutral on my bias, somewhere bearish to neutral. So let's take a look at the market for cryptolume and see what's hot right now. Anything really oversold on the 24-hour or overbought? I don't know what's up with lit, but that's at literally really low. That's really low. I don't know what's up with that coin, but let's just take a look at it for fun. It's probably a new coin, that's what I'm guessing. What the fudgesicles? What? What's the volume? It's only at like $24 million in volume traded. But it's something to make note of. The RSI is literally at 22 right now, so I would expect a spike sometime soon here for lit. That's certainly worth watching and getting on your watch list because of how low the RSI is. Doesn't matter what's going on. There's a good chance that it's going to bounce. The 12-hour crossed over already here. So there seems like there might be a good possible bounce soon despite the volume here being bad. So that's worth noting, okay? Whoops. And then we see what else is low. We see Zcash. We see AXS. Pretty much every coin is low in the RSI totem pole, but we want to look for a combination of low 30s. But there's really nothing across the board. Nothing is too oversold. Nothing is too overbought right now. I want to find a combination that's moved a lot for RSI. and also percentage, but nothing. Let's see what moved the most today. People moved a lot. Zen, Ant, Sand. But now you can easily see that people is neutral based on the RSI. Zen's neutral. So we missed the rally already. Like you can just see if I go to people that based off of that over there that it moved, but now it's kind of neutral, right? It moved up a lot. See, since 7 in the morning, now it's neutral. So we can tell just based off of the scanner there. So this is a really hot coin right now, I think, people. I mean, moved up 100%, so that's a really freaking hot coin, right? It's hard to refute that. I'm not sure what these structures are right now, but they seem to be pretty high on the upside. People is really interesting. I gotta keep this on my watch list. You want to find a coin that's going to the upside like that, right? Just straight up. I mean, this might even be simple as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, if that's as simple as that, like, you know, then we should get a correction to the downside soon. I don't know about that, but we'll see, okay? I gotta put an alert. If it gets a little bit higher, I might be interested in shorting it. So just kind of looking really quickly at here, we're able to see that my watch list already consists of a lot of coins, but mainly this is for other purposes. I'm going to put them up here, higher priority. So I got lit, I got people. That's really interesting here as well. In my course version 2.0, guys, I go over this really well. I go over how my exact routine of how I hunt for coins. Let me show you, okay? This right here. So look at my specific strategies here. This is how much I have so far. I haven't filmed on the last 2 videos, but that's it. But this is where I start talking about basically my strategies, right? And they're very, very long. This chapter 4 of mine. Like, let me just show you guys in here. 1 second. So right now, I got 3 more hours actually to finish. So this is chapter 4 of my specific strategies. I'm already at about 6 hours in, right? So I talk a lot about my exact routine of how
let's get into this.
How I hunt
Thank
for.
you very much for completing 3 chapters so far.
Yeah,
So
like
that's
so I
better.
talk about
Or moving.
literally.
But now if you see 1 inch, you start.
So I talk about my exact way of scanning for a coin, and this is like golden stuff in my opinion.
Hello everyone.
Trading setups.
Welcome back.
I talk about my trading setups here with people in detail. This is pretty much what it is, but having an understanding of it and going into detail, it's really different. For example, everybody knows they should be logging a breakout, but how do you actually do it, right? How do you really go into it, for example? So I go into detail, high detail of how to catch these trades of mine. So and they're really detailed. The 10 live trades that I took already, that 10 live trades are really well narrated. Yeah, this is really amazing course. Like chapter 2, I talk about lots about the deep basics. The chapter 3 is the best part, the technicals. I'm like how many hours in? Let's take a look here. The textbook is really nice too, but I'm saving that as a surprise for everybody. So the technicals, like how I view everything, is really different than how it was last year and the year before, and especially my first and second course. This doesn't compare to the old ones don't compare to it now. So the chapter 3 technicals, it's literally 8.5 hours long now. Pretty intense. So I go over how to scan for coins really well using cryptolume and just generally speaking and what to look for, what criteria, etc. Right? So this one here looks like it's almost done. So this is really high on my list right now to be interested in it. I don't know if it's true or not, but people is definitely going to be a coin on my list. Just because it's at 3% doesn't mean it's a bad coin to be trading, right? We see people here move 15%, but we see everything neutral. So it's moving a lot, but the volume is declining. What's picking up in volume? Lena is picking up in volume. See that? So Lena is a really hot coin, ICX. Let's just take a look at Lena really quickly. What is going on with Lena? So it picked up a lot in volume. There might be one more wave up to the upside. So I don't long the fifth wave ever. So I'm gonna put, because if you take a look for the 28th here, like you can see that this is somewhere there's a 5. This is probably truncated of some sort. I just gotta move it up so you can see that the 3 is not done yet. Right, you can see that. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somewhere. And that I also talk in my strategy, right? That's trade setup number 4 right here, where we're catching a dip on wave 2 to long or wave 4 to long, right? So this is pretty much the wave 4 that's going in here, and right. But how do you catch wave 4? So this is stuff that's really, really detailed in my course. Like I'm sorry, I don't mean to be shilling it, but I really suggest you guys take a look at it. I think it's literally one of the best courses out there in the world right now, and just the amount of work I put into it, it can really bring you to the next level. And if you think that my course 1 and 2 was good, I'm not kidding. That this course version 2.0 is a different level. I've shown a lot of my friends the videos already, or some of the videos, and they're like, wow, man, that's some good shit. So Lena is high on the watch list here too, okay? So let's get Lena on the watch list. Where is it? So Lena gets high on the watch list. So right now, just looking at it really quickly, despite these coins not being really high volatility, 5% is not high, right? It still moved up like 18% for that wave. Now we're looking for another wave as well to long to finish the 5th, where I'll catch a short. People is just going and going and going, so I'm interested in maybe catching a short sometime soon. Lit is pretty interesting as well here, right? It's a really low RSI. So those are 3 really hot picks as well for you guys to focus on today maybe. So I just wanted to make a pretty brief video for you to give you my thoughts on the market and maybe some possible scenarios of what to long or short very soon. So anyways, I'll catch you sometime soon. If you have any questions about the course coming out, please let me know. Other than that, have yourself a great weekend, and thank you very much for watching my course. Bye now.